And welcome to the program. This is a new day. Thank you so much with psychic medium Angelina Diana. I'm so glad you've taken the time to tune in and listen. And my hope that this show will be an enlightening one that you can walk away feeling more connected, not only to your loved ones, but also psychically to your own path. And as Spirit would have it, you know, you plan a show and you have a certain amount of time to talk about what you want to talk about and also have the hope of connecting. And it seems Spirit has a different plan because we put down one chair and was planning to do the reading near the end of the show, but I was being drawn to a spirit, which actually helped me introduce another spirit. And we have these two lovely ladies here who've agreed to allow and honor me to honor their loved ones. So when we were preparing to go on the air, I felt first a male father-like figure, and I felt their personalities. And I was drawn to first you, a male who has a very detailed, anxious kind of energy, and you understand that. Mm-hmm. And I felt father too, and then drawn to you. And he seems to have the same personality too as well. And sometimes that can happen to a medium. You have to remember, we're just one microphone. That's what you have to think about when you sit with a medium, is when a medium works and when I work, I see, hear, feel, taste, and smell from the other side. And I feel you can do that too. So my hope when I read you today and when you're watching at home or from the audience is that when you see how a medium works, you incorporate those same ability too, so you can be a personal spirit communicator too. I think we're more teachers and demonstrators of spirit, because even when I do a private reading, there's no way I could capsulize one person's lifetime in an hour. So imagine doing 2 in 15 minutes. Okay. But what's interesting to me is before we went on the air, I was very anxious, and I felt connected to this male that passed, that is his energy was very on his own time. It's like, I got to do things the way that I need to do them. They need to be on my own time, and I'm hearing and feeling him. I do feel underneath all the layers of who he is now and was here is really an ultra sensitive male. I mean, very sensitive. But I feel like his timing in doing things, he was always anxious to get things done, and people didn't understand why. And he tells me it's because spiritually I had a sense it was my time to go, but did not know it up here. It was, I'm busy, busy, busy. So I feel like he's coming through to apologize to you, to say I was always on my own time because I knew I had a lot to get done in a short period of time. He also has a very teaching soul though. So there had to be an aspect about him wanting to mentor or be an example to other people. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so I feel like the mentoring and the example now is to breathe and take it easy. I do feel like he did not know he passed. So I feel like he passed very quickly. Do you understand that? But it's interesting with this father figure, he makes me feel like he was sick. So you understand that?
Absolutely.
But the personality is the same.
Yes.
Now your father had, now they're both sharing time here. And it's very interesting to me, when I was speaking to her, your father figure was like behind you in a bar, or he was like in the back kind of going, I'm going to have a drink, wait till we're done. So he was kind of like, right? You understand that?
Absolutely.
Because I was starting to connect him, and he goes, aren't you going to tell about the bar?
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, there is something about him liking to make people laugh.
Truly.
You know, I need to say this because they'll get a kick out of it. Whereas the male figure connected to you has more reservation. He's a little more reserved than that, but he's got his own anxiousness and things that it detailed of why I got to get things done, get out of my way. Your dad is the same way too, but his energy is a little different in that I've got to make a big joke about it because, yeah, this is how I am. You understand that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, he was sick for about 1.5 years He talks about a year and a half. I'm hearing that. He's telling me that.
Yeah.
I do feel like he was a tough guy when it came to talking about his medical stuff.
Absolutely.
My hip hurts, so I can't sit down quite right. So I feel like 2 to 3 weeks before he passed, he kept on having to adjust himself. That's what he's telling me. I feel a lot of discomfort from the stomach down to my hip. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
He does make me feel like he passed very gently, though, with morphine. I'm feeling like there was something about pain control or some type of a medicine on his tongue that helped him drift off to sleep. Does that make sense to you?
It absolutely does.
Is he I'm hearing like an MMOR sounding name connected to him.
Manuel.
Manuel.
Martinez.
Okay, so there's the 2 M's. Okay, so that validates him. But what's interesting about him is he's making a joke about it, like, I'm MMM, the MMM guy. Like, he's making a joke about it. So I don't know if he's trying to say he is the M&M guy, or there's something about him having that personality.
It's the personality.
Okay, yeah, okay, the personality. So I feel like he's coming through. I feel like he has to say to you that his passing was gentle, but there's a timing factor as far as somebody getting there to see him. So he feels a little alone and isolated. Don't feel bad. Please don't feel bad. It's a tissue, sweetheart. They come through not to make you feel bad when they say this. It's so that
to hear this.
I always say Spirit knows your thoughts. They know what you're thinking and they know what's on your mind. And I say that because Spirit connects to energy and thoughts are energy. Actions are physical things we do in the world. Have you ever been in a room with someone and they don't say a word and it's like you're going, whoa, I don't even know if I can, because you're feeling their thoughts. When somebody crosses over that you are connected to, they're the best psychics in the world. They can feel you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So they know your thoughts, they know what you're thinking. They come through to talk about this because they want to connect to us. But every time they connect to us, if they're only connecting to or they're feeling, oh, she's still stuck in the fact she wasn't there, she's still grieving, it isn't that they'll stop trying, but it's harder for you to hear them because what's in the way? The grief. And also the fact that you're feeling some amount of guilt, he's telling me. That there's an aspect about needing to get there, but you didn't. So you understand that. He makes me feel like it's okay. I know that we're still connected. He talks about being in and out of consciousness for about a day. Do you understand that? So he was kind of weak and not quite himself. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, you understand this too? Okay, so I feel like that's why, but I do feel like there's a similar message for both of you, that there is a reason why Spirit made me go to 2 people. The message is the same. We're still connected even though you weren't there. So you understand that too. Okay, do you see why Spirit's bringing you together? You know, in the short time that we're together, is they know, they understand. I can be in a room full of 400 people and they'll grab someone from that side of the room and that side of the room and go, you had a similar lesson in your loss. That the idea of reaching someone before they passed wasn't there for you. And I'm hearing with you, it was more unreachable. There's more of an apology actually coming from this male as I'm talking. By the way, he liked to correct people.
Yes.
He was like on a correction mode, like, no, it's this.
He knew
okay.
how things were.
Okay, so but I want to understand that that's slightly the personality difference here I'm feeling. They seem to be validating each other's personality. Your dad absolutely loves saying what he thinks to get a response, to make someone laugh.
Absolutely.
This male figure is coming through to say, no, I don't want to get a response from anyone. I just want her to know that I'm right.
He's got it.
And this is what I know. So he's not really into the crowd as much, a little more isolated. And he's making, but the lesson is the same here. Spirit is bringing the 2 of you together to understand that when we cross, we have those shoulda, had a V8 moments, you know, like, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but then they feel us and go, wow, they're feeling that too, but I have redemption. I feel lighter now. I'm not connected to those bodily harms or anything that made me pass. So now I want to connect with my loved ones, but look what they're feeling. So they're coming through, both of them are coming through at the same time with the message of, it's okay that you weren't there. I understand our connection. Now they have to validate it. So I feel like with your father, he's making me feel like You know, he goes, you think I'm funny with the bar? You think I can make a crowd laugh? You should see my daughter.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
She's Miss Entertainer herself. Do you understand that?
Oh, yeah.
So he's telling me the two of you sometimes did this, right?
lot.
You bet, yeah. She's showing me the Rams. So that validates your person, right? Someone's having a good laugh on that. But I just want to say that validates your relationship. Now, this shows me that his job now, because I feel people say to me, what do they do on the other side? His job is now to watch his daughter and go, she's got my personality, but how is she going to carve a path so I can learn from it now? Wow. You understand that?
Oh, wow.
So keep in mind that he now sees you as the better version of himself. We're the same, but you're doing better than me, daughter. That's what I'm hearing. Is it like a Roseanne, Rosie, Rosa, R-O-S? He's making me hear that. Do you understand that?
No.
You
I
understand
have
that?
a couple of rose connections.
Okay, so I feel like that's the way he's coming in. But it's interesting to me, though. I want you to check to see if there's a rose connection on the other side for him that he met up with. And sometimes Spirit will talk about things that they find out after. And that's the cool thing.
Yeah.
Imagine if a medium like myself says, oh, there's a rose with him. You go, no, there's no rose I know of. And then you go check and there is. That shows
Yeah, definitely.
validation that he's with
Yes.
someone. Dad had heart problems connected to him too as
Oh,
well.
yes.
So he validates that statement with that. Okay, and there's a November connection too, connected in the family, birthday celebration in November.
My son's.
Okay, so that's his way of saying hello to your son. Now what's interesting is your son is such a sensitive peanut.
Oh, Lord, yes.
It's like he wants you to kind of send some strength there, right? So know that the message in the short time that we're together is that your father is okay. It's okay that this double M is that you weren't there for the actual time of his passing, but you were there when you needed to be. And that whatever separation you created, it was showing your own strength and what you needed to do for yourself, because the two of you were Rams, okay? He's now watching you going, oh, should have had a V8. I should have recognized my daughter, that we were the same. I should have spoke up a little bit more about how I felt. And I should have expressed my love in a way, not always with humor, but with a serious nature and not avoiding my responsibility of being a dad, right? Do you understand that?
Absolutely.
So he's validating his relationship with you. Know now you're, and I say this to folks that are grieving. Sometimes we can't get out of bed. So if we can't honor ourselves, we have to be grieving. Let's try to honor them and say, all right, I'm like, for in your case, I'm like my dad. Let me get out of bed today and still be strong, but be the way I wish my dad was. You follow what I'm saying? He's going to learn from you. Now, I have to tell you, when it comes to your little peanut, he's totally different. There's something about him melting a little bit more or not. He wants to show up more perfect. So I feel like when the grandkids were in the room, there had to be something about him totally
He was all
straighten up. Okay, so just know that he's learning from you. Your dad's okay. His passing to him, even though people were aware he was passing, was very gentle because it was like he went to sleep. That's what he makes me feel, okay? I hope that helps you.
so much.
Okay, thank your dad, it's him,
Thank
okay?
Dad.
Now this male figure coming through, I want you to know that I feel the reason why in the short time we're together, he's not as talkative, because there's some unspoken words between the two of you. There's something about completing that circle of communication. So there was a distance or a lack of communication before he passed. Do you understand that? Okay. He makes me feel very strongly, it's almost like the feelings that he wants you to feel right now. He wants you to understand that the feelings of love that you felt and that you understood were there. Just his incapacity to express them because he was on his own path to get stuff done prevented him from saying his love and caring from you. He sees you as a teacher. He sees you as someone as a guiding force for him, almost like a maternal figure in how you are towards him. So there's an energy about him feeling softer around you when you're teaching him. So I want you to remember that, because I feel that was incomplete when he was here. And now as you go through your life, He's saying when you speak to other people, when you guide them, when you talk to them from what you've learned, he's going to be listening too, and he'll be able to feel that complete circle. That's telling me that you feel incomplete because you did not get to say some things to him and you did not get to share some things with him that you wanted to. So know that we can do that with other people in the living so that they can feel that as well. I have to tell you, there's such a difference in how they express things. I can tell you right now that with your male figure, he's got me more confused. and I feel like that's his personality. He left you guessing. Where you always knew where your father stood. It's like, okay, he's having that kind of a day. So I feel like you understand that.
Oh my God.
So that's validation as a medium that you've brought them here, and I'm sensing them. That's what I was going to talk to everyone about today, is how a medium senses spiritual thoughts versus physical thoughts. But in the short time that we're together, I hope this has helped you.
It has, and I just want to say the things you were saying about the November and the rose
You
were also connections exactly for me with my brother.
Spirit is bringing you together. And if this is your brother, he saw you as a maternal figure. I'm telling you right now.
And it's my mother's birthday. That's in November.
There we go.
She's
Okay.
still here. So.
Okay, so just know
Wow.
Spirit is bringing you guys together for a reason.
Definitely.
They see the connection. Now it's up to the two of you, if you want to talk and see what other similarities there are. Know that if one party doesn't feel comfortable with that, you'd have to respect that. But
Absolutely.
thank you for the
Thank you so
honor
much.
of reading your family. And
Thank
please know
you
that
so
they're
much.
always with you. And like I say always, I don't make them come through, you bring them here. So they're not going to stay in the studio here after the show. They go home with you. So continue your communication with them, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a short break right now, and before I do, I want to remind you that when we are feeling in loss and when we're feeling like we need to honor someone, sometimes the best thing that we can do is be a blessing for others. Get out of bed, you don't feel good, but the second you do something nice for someone else, all of a sudden your spirit is lifted. So I want to remind you of an organization in the Connecticut area called the Enfield Food Shelf. Their mission is to ensure that no family in Enfield is without food assistance. On a weekly basis, they are serving approximately 1,400 individuals, more than 1/3 who are children. Weekly grocery-style assistance is provided for families of children. Grocery-style food assistance allows families to select items that they're most in need of. The Enfield Food Shelf needs volunteers and your donations. They're located in Enfield on Alden Avenue. You can give them a call at 860-741-7321, or they're located on the web at the EnfieldFoodShelf.org. And if you're in need of their assistance, you can give them a call too. We'll be right back after this message.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Welcome back to the program. This is A New Day with psychic medium Angelina Diana. I want to thank you so much for joining us so far, and I think for the rest of the program, I'd like to talk a little bit about the difference between a psychic and a medium and how you yourself can become a personal psychic or medium yourself. I think that there are professional responsibilities that a psychic medium has. Certainly if you want to work yourself into being a psychic medium, there's certain ethics and things that you need to follow. But I believe everyone on their journey has had a psychic experience, has smelled the perfume of a love. I mean, how many people here have maybe smelled perfume or cigarette smoke, right? You all have. How many of you have had an experience where you just had a knowing and you walked in a situation, you're like, I just knew that was going to happen. But what's the first thing we do? Our physical brain says, oh, that's just a coincidence. We have to start separating the difference between our physical thoughts, our feelings, what the physical world is telling us what we need to do, and what our spirit is telling us need to do. I believe everybody on this earth has a spirit, and I believe that that spirit has an ability to shine. The way to connect to it is actually, you need to block the physical world, and that's a hard thing to do, right? How do you block the physical world? You can't do it. Well, grief might do it. So when we think about grief, and how it dulls the senses and we don't want to be here anymore, I think that's our spirit's natural radar saying, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And we naturally go in that mode of, I don't want to face the world. Don't you find that interesting? Well, when a medium works, we have to be isolated. We have to shut down our system. We have to have days, if you're working ethically, days that you're a medium and days you're not. You know, if I'm in the grocery store, a lot of people ask me, if you're in the grocery store, are you connecting to somebody's grandmother? Well, probably not. I'm thinking about getting shrimp. That's probably what's happening. You know, there are times when spirit has to get through, they will talk. But you have to be disciplined as a professional to say, today I'm reading, tomorrow I have to pay my bills and clean my house. Well, when you're grieving, I ask my clients to be just as disciplined for your own spirit. You have to have days where you say, today I need to grieve. Today I have to get that out of my system and just cry, kick in the wall, or be angry. Whatever it is you need to do, as long as it's not breaking the law, you need to do it because you have a physiological, physical response to the fact that that person's not walking through that door anymore. But we all have spiritual responses. We have spiritual needs that say, but why is it that I still feel you? Or can I still feel you? Or how come I had a dream about you last night and I felt you touch me? How many of you had that experience? Any of you? Some of you have. You know, where you have a deep, profound, natural connection. And that's what I want to encourage you to do, to try. And the way to do that is to take days that when you are grieving, and I know that all of you out there have had days where you're grieving, and you need to honor that. Days that you feel a little stronger. The way to be a personal spirit communicator is to try moments to block yourself from the physical world. And I say every morning, whether it's you want to be more connected to your goals, your psychic goals in your physical life, or you want to connect to your loved ones on the other side, you got to give your spirit at least 5 minutes in the morning. Can you at least do that, right? What do? We get up in the morning, we slam the alarm clock or the iPhone, and boy, am I old, I'm talking about the alarm clock. You know what I'm saying? We get programmed to what the physical needs are. Our physical body says this, our brain says that. We have to pay attention to what our spirit's saying, and if we do, we can be more psychic in our life. We can also connect to our loved ones on the other side. So I want to make a suggestion that you take 5 minutes in the morning and have an intention. And that intention might be, today I'm going to connect to the energy of so-and-so on the other side. I'm going to take a few moments and take all the issues that are bothering me, and I'm going to say they don't exist right now. Because for 5 minutes, they're not going to, Cox Cable isn't going to call you to pay your bill. You know, somebody's not going to knock on your door and say, you know, we have to fill your oil tank now. Your life isn't going to end if that happens. You need to take 5 minutes and say, okay, loved one on the other side, or if it's your psychic goals, my intention right now is that I clean and clear my energy, and that the only thing that exists right now is my intention to blank, whether it's connect to your loved one or connect to a psychic goal. And you get really, really quiet, and you see and try to sense what you feel in your gut. Like when I worked with those readings, I felt the personalities. I heard the father figure. I saw him at the bar. I could smell the medicine or the morphine. I didn't really taste much except maybe a little liquor, you know? So feeling, seeing, hearing, tasting, and smelling from within, take a moment and say to yourself, ask your loved one a question and say, what do I feel? What are you doing on the other side? Or what's going on with you there? And when you're done, write down whatever you get. I don't have a lot of time left, but I want to tell you an experience I had 2 weeks ago. My mother's on the other side. And she's been on the other side for 11 years. I had a conversation with her. And I said, okay, Mom, what are you doing on the other side? And she didn't say anything. Well, what's going on, Mom? I'm not hearing you. And I could smell oranges. Oranges, what does that mean? And then she handed me an orange. And I'm like, I want to talk to you, and all you're doing is handing me an orange? What does this mean? I said, well, I got to trust it. And I wrote down oranges, went to work, read a couple of people came home, and there was a crate of oranges from my dad that arrived from Florida. Oh. So she was telling me, Dad's sending you oranges. And you may look at yourself and go, oh, oranges, what does that mean? But if you're paying attention to what you're seeing, hearing, and feeling, and even if it's just one word, one sentence, a song, and later on it connects, you're creating a continuity of a relationship with them. I truly believe in my heart and soul that all of you here can be personal spirit communicators. And if you really did want to connect to your loved ones, you need to give not your physical brain, where all that noise is of grieving, missing, got to pay my bills, got to go to work. No, we have to almost detach from our feelings and honor our spirit and say, I love you. You love me. Let me use that string of love to see, hear, feel, taste, and smell. And again, it may be just an orange, but it will turn into a beautiful message later on. Does that make sense? And I'm certain that, finally, another way to pay attention to that is, I always suggest with folks that they consider having a diary. I call it a love diary or an energy diary, where you write your intention, and then you write the results of what that is. I have clients that call me up and say, I was writing this thing down for 5 days, and by the end of the week, it turned into a message. So I want you to trust spirit, trust yourself. We all have the ability to connect, and I certainly hope today's program was a help to all of you. And I want to remind you that not only are your loved ones a heartbeat away, but every time you are a blessing to someone else, not only are you honoring them, but you're honoring your own spirit. So try to be a blessing to someone today. I want to thank you for joining me for a new day. I hope you're having one too.